Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to Social Studies for 2021. Today, you're going to be watching Chapter 3, Lesson 3. We finished Lesson 1 and 2 the first week of December, and then the second week before we went on holiday break, we did some of those Christmas facts. So, today, watch, listen, follow along to Chapter 3, Lesson 3, and then go to Slide 6 when we're done to complete your homework assignment. There's a picture at the very top of this slide that shows a gentleman by the name of Father Marquette. He was a Catholic priest and he came here to spread the word of Christianity, and he was quite an explorer and a friend to the tribes of Michigan. All right, let's get started. A brave priest. Think about this while you read. How did Father Marquette affect Michigan's history? Let's find out one of the early French priests. This man came to Michigan a long time ago. He was one of the first French people to reach our land. If we could talk to him, he might have said this: Bonjour, my name is Jacques Marquette. I was born in 1637 to a good family. I lived in northern France. When I was 17, I decided to become a priest. I studied long and hard for this work. I had to read many books. I finished my training in 1666. I belonged to the Catholic Church. In this church, priests are called Father. It is done out of respect. Some people call me Father Marquette. When I finished my training, my great wish was to go to New France. This was our name for North America. Priests from France left France to go all over the world. They went to share their religion with other people. They told people about our God. And that's kind of in his voice talking. Think what Father Marquette faced. It might be like going to the moon today. His work would be exciting. It may also be dangerous. At last, he reached the Upper Peninsula. Here he learned to speak the languages of the tribes. He learned how to talk to the Ottawa. He learned how to talk to the Huron and other tribes. Michigan's first two towns. Marquette started two towns. He built a little church in each one. That was over 300 years ago. He did this in 1668 and 1671. The first was Sault Ste. Marie. This town is across the river from Canada. St. Ignace was the second. They were both in the eastern Upper Peninsula. These are the two oldest towns in Michigan. Father Marquette played a part in our history. Let us explore a great river. In 1672, a fur trader visited the priest. He asked Marquette to come with him. He wanted to explore a great river. This was the Mississippi. Marquette could speak to the tribes on the way. No Europeans had explored this river. They would be the first ones. It was May 17th, 1673. The explorers loaded their supplies. Father Marquette said a prayer. They stepped into their canoes. Marquette probably wondered where his little boat would take him. The men dipped their paddles into the water and started. They waved to their friends. The view of St. Ignace became smaller. They paddled along the north shore of Lake Michigan. Days later, they reached Wisconsin and rested at a village with the Menominee tribe. And right in the center of that page, boys and girls, there's a map of their route on how they traveled. The tribes helped them. The Frenchmen paddled up the Fox River. They stopped at another Indian village. They asked if anyone could guide them. They wanted to find a way to the Mississippi. On June 10th, The Frenchman and two guides left. An amazed crowd of Indians watched. They paddled through swamps and many small lakes. Marquette noted, "We greatly needed our two guides. They helped us to carry our canoes to the second river. After this, the guides returned home. We were left alone in an unknown country." In the yellow box there, boys and girls, Marquette wrote this down in his diary. Priests were very good at taking notes. Often they wrote down what took place each day. Marquette's diary is a primary source. A primary source tells what actually happened. It is recorded by someone who was there. Primary sources help historians know what happened. Primary sources are the best because the person was there. He or she wrote down what took place. She did it or saw it. He did it or saw it. People wrote about events in diaries, letters, and in books. So a primary source is a very important source to have when you're studying something. Alone in dangerous country. Now the men went down the Wisconsin River. Marquette wrote in his diary, "The day was June 17th, 1673. We safely entered the Mississippi with a joy I cannot express." Imagine seeing the Mississippi River for the very first time. Wow. The French explorers kept going. The river carried them south. Days passed. They could tell the Mississippi did not go to the Pacific Ocean. It would need to go west to do that. It did not go to China. The men had followed the river over 600 miles. They decided to turn back. Oh my gosh. Marquette was very sick. The trip had been very long. Now Marquette was sick. What should they do? It was decided. He stayed at an Indian village. The rest of the men headed back. Maybe he could rest and get better. It did not happen. In spite of that, he visited another tribe. His illness grew much worse. Two French friends came to help him back to St. Ignace. The friends paddled hard and fast. Each hour, Father Marquette was weaker. Sadly, he did not make it. One night, along the shore of Lake Michigan, the year was 1675. His friends buried him near the river. Now the river is called the Pere Marquette in his honor. Marquette was a brave priest. Many priests worked hard to tell the tribes about their religion. And you can see the map right there, boys and girls, where the river, the Pere Marquette River, comes out. It's actually inland and it dumps into Lake Michigan, and it's near the city of Ludington. All right, boys and girls. Very short but informational text today about Father Marquette, starting the two cities in the Upper Peninsula, Sault Ste. Marie and St. Ignace, and then his travels with him being such a kind person to the tribes and trying to find, with another explorer, the way west around the world. They thought that the Mississippi would take them to other parts of the world and get them closer to China. We know that was not true. The Mississippi, instead of going west, it heads south and dumps into the Gulf of Mexico. So we'll learn more about that as we go. You are going to now go to your homework slide, and it's going to ask you some questions about Father Marquette's source being primary or secondary, what year it took place. So you're going to have to go back to the slides and look at the years and dates that I read on those slides. And then you're going to name two of Michigan's oldest towns. And I want you to think like a historian today. Write 3 questions that you would ask Father Marquette about what the past was like when he was in Michigan. All right, that's all for now.